If we could live in this moment and just hold it.
Libra, welcome back to the channel. This is the Lady of the Throne Astrology, where God dwells within me as me. This is for the sign of Libra for December 2024, male or female. This will be your general love, life, and spirituality guidance. This is your monthly guidance. And this will cover whatever seems to be the strongest, most potent energy for the month. This is a prophecy. I am a prophet. I am more than that, but I like to be humble. Now, Libra, there is something about this month for you. It may feel like a twilight zone for some of you. Just because of what just happened before I recorded this video, I feel like that is a sign. Now, before I get into your personalized messages, I just want to say that when it comes to the astrological side of things, there was a new moon in Sagittarius that brought in the beginning of the month just this fascinating energy where there could have been a lot of things to learn. This is all about higher learning, higher education. The ninth house is also about studying. Destiny is at play, Jupiter energy, as well as travel. So some of you could have had some type of foreign travel at the beginning of the month, holiday time. That makes sense, but it also makes sense because of the planetary action. Also, it could have been some type of trips you could be planning, even if you have not taken them yet. If it is not something physical for you, it could definitely be something more like spiritual. Could have been you being taken on some type of journey, being taken on a ride by the divine. For instance, for myself, I have a spiritual gift that I've already possessed. I have all of the any spiritual gift you can think of. But this one here, when I thought that one had fully developed, I had to think again. This Sagittarius new moon just increased or heightened one of my spiritual gifts and has made it extremely strong. It is much more stronger than it was before, which means that it's much more dangerous to have it. And I'm telling you the truth, so help me God. But you guys may have experiences like that where, you know, like in your life, you may experience something happening with you around the beginning of the month. Something could have happened around the beginning of December where you just felt disconnected from your reality and maybe placed in something different. You know, it can be anything from metaphorical to spiritual to physical. Moving on from there, you had a Gemini full moon that is coming in, okay? And so the Gemini energy is the third house. So that's all about a crowd, group, a network, friends, social life, communications, written, verbal, creative. It's a creative energy as well. That's what Gemini is all about, as Gemini can also be connected to travel as well. So all of that is playing out in the month of December. So there, because it is a full moon and not a new moon, it's not as exciting as a new moon. Usually what happens is that we start cutting off certain things that no longer serve us. And in this case, because it's Gemini, you could be cutting off communications with someone. You may not want to talk to someone, but usually it's group. So you may cut off an entire group of people all at once. You may cut off like a whole thing. Let's just say, for instance, you're a part of some type of organization or a company, or like you're part of some type of group thing. You may decide to totally disconnect or remove yourself from a particular role within that dynamic. It could be a family dynamic, it could be a community dynamic, but whatever community this is, a lot of people, and it's not just you, it's like all the zodiac signs, and some zodiac signs are affected more by it than other people. But it's just like, you know what, I'm not calling my cousins anymore. They bring a lot of drama. I'm not talking to them, right? It can be that. It could be like, you know what, I don't feel like me calling them in the first place was a good idea for me, because it didn't turn out right for me to call my cousins, you know, that type of thing. That could be what you are thinking, and how you could be feeling, because by the end of the month at least. So that's what we have with the moon energy. Now with you specifically, December is telling you that you said enough. You have said enough. You're coming to a point where you know you said enough. Like, you know that whatever you were trying to get through to people, because remember, this is not just one person that you're focused on, it's like a lot of people. You know that to these people, you have said all that you can say, and you have already received the green light to stop talking. You have already received, and I know, look at how that sounds. Shouldn't it be a red light to stop talking? But you've received a green light to stop talking. Usually green means go. Now, in this situation, God has already told you that it's time to stop. The reason why is because a whole entire group of people are not believing you. That's why. Whatever it is that you've been trying to persuade them, whatever you've been trying to help them understand, whatever you've been trying to get them to see in your way, whatever you've been warning them about, whatever it is that you've been doing, whatever you've been trying to do, it feels like no one believes you now. It could feel like that at some point in December. That's because they're looking at the fact that you've already proved the real you. You've already proved who you really are. Now, it is not up to you to decide how people take it. Some people will take the real you as a bad thing, and some will take it as a good thing. But if you know you are tired of talking, then that means you have to just like, that's it. That's it. Because how you live your life, people already made up their mind. So whatever decision had been made regarding you about who you really are at the core, people know it. So it doesn't make any sense anymore to keep talking about anything despite what anybody's talking about, and despite what you even are talking about. Everybody already understands who you really are. And that's and for a lot of people, that's not going to change. So now I feel like it's time to put down the burdens or the responsibilities of your load that you carry every day, whether it's emotional, spiritual, mental. Some of you could have a mental, issue, some type of, I didn't want to use that word. I wanted to say what do you call that? A challenge. Okay, some of you may be mentally challenged, and you may not have ever identified that. You may not even think that could be you. But for some of you, you may have to get yourself checked, or may have to get yourself may have to go and talk to someone, honestly, because it seems like there is something that could be a little bit too challenging for you, that now you're having to that's the reason why you're having to, just don't waste your time anymore, because something really did take a toll on you, and you, instead of trying to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, if trying to keep fighting it, you probably need to consider what is going on with you about the situation, right? Because it's all about self-care. Are you really taking care of yourself at the end of the day? Because something is pulling your energy too much. You're getting too involved in something that I feel like you don't really need to be involved in. It's kind of like, what about you? What about your peace of mind? What about your rest? What about your kids? What about your future? What about, like, just what about you? What about the things that, you know, just you as who you are, outside of a job or outside of this group or community or whatever it is that you are around? What about who you are outside of all of this? So I think you've just been pulled in a particular direction, and you've been there too long, or you've been there doing too much. And it's just like, you know what? I think I'm gonna tap out. I really do think I'm gonna tap out, because I do have to nurture me. I do have to fully function. I do have to recharge. I do need to regroup. I do. So I think it's just admitting that at some point in December, because it seems like now you are able to delegate some things to your children. You know, you're able to tell your kids, okay, I need you to do this for me. Get it, you know, I need you guys to get that done. I need your help. Or, hey, I need you to do this. I need you to, you know, it's like you are maintaining some type of order in your life by knowing that it is okay to ask for help from your children more, or from you know, it could be like your class of students or whatever. I just feel like this is people, the youth or something like that. You're of your own, not just anybody's kids. So don't go don't go and try to do that in some type of youth organization. No, this is just like your personal household or something. I'm also getting here that some of you are now retired. There are some Libras out there who may be retired right now, and you could be getting ready to, or maybe you are already really starting to enjoy your life now that you're retired. Now that you don't have to work anymore. It could feel good right now for some of you. I'm getting that message for some reason. For others of you, you could be strongly considering retiring now. If you have been thinking about it but didn't really know if that's what you really, really wanted to do, then maybe that could be a good thing. You know, maybe that could be something that you should do at this time, because it's definitely something that is, like I said, something is mentally draining. Something is really, really draining you and taking a lot of your energy, and your energy should be for you, but I feel like you've been giving it out a lot. Okay, you've been giving it out a lot, and some of you could be having experiences in your life that shows that. So now this is something different here that I'm getting. Some of you are going to be in heavy repentance mode. Heavy repentance mode is coming up for Libras, and it's coming up without a doubt. Without a doubt. Listen, let me tell you guys something. There's a lot of people who have access to listen to me. I am growing in popularity every single day. And I inspire people so much that they try to be just like me. But I think it's just cute, because that is how it always has been for me. This is not surprising now. But the thing is, this is when I'm going to speak to you, Libra. And this is about you and only you. You may come to a point in December or a little later, give it time to play out, where your repentance is going to really come from a deep understanding about how your perspective was so jaded about your own belief system, and seeing and knowing the truth right in front of you and still placing doubt. Your repentance, and I'm not telling you this to make you feel like you should, you're going to inevitably have to very, very soon. Because there is a barrier that I strongly sense had been created. But this is something that this had already happened in your past. This isn't something that you are like deep into right now. Some of you could have made some changes already. But I think that when it comes to something new that you've realized about your life, it feels like you're being guided to surrender fully to God. This is that time where you're about to experience what consecration really feels like. A consecration of your soul. From personal experience, I've already had my consecration. I've already went through that. So that is why, too, I am also able to express and inspire other people in this way, because I don't teach what I don't walk. So I know what it feels like to fast for days with no food. I know what it feels like to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, thousands of miles away from my hometown, alone, facing the devil. I know what it feels like to stand up again and to put my foot on the neck of the devil and walk away completely victorious. Because at that moment, I knew that I was no longer ordinary. I became extraordinary. And the way that you become this way is when you allow yourself to become pure. What that means is, if you have to abstain from sex, you probably would have to. If you're being guided to abstain from any worldly vices, such as gambling, you might, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that when you consecrate yourself, you are perfect according to other people's standards. It doesn't mean you have to stop every single thing that's bad. And I mean, completely be like this nun. It doesn't mean that. Just like with me being a real goddess, it doesn't mean that either. I have ways that I have to work in the world. So the things I do, you have to be careful with me, because I do everything in divine order. So my examples may not look like the examples you've read about, because half of what you've read is not fully my story. I teach in different ways. So it doesn't mean you have to be perfect, Libra. God never asked you for perfection. What you have to consecrate is what is obviously excessive, like with your thoughts. It's just chilling out from certain things. It doesn't mean that you're going to walk around here perfect. You can do what you want to do. Remember, I don't judge you guys. You can do what you want to do, whatever you want to do, but just be a person of good moral character. Don't go against God to fit in. That type of stuff. Don't go against God to look good, but you're stealing money. Don't go against God to appease other people or to have certain things in life, to be like listed on some type of great wall of people who thought they figured something out but didn't. Be the person who can honestly say that by the end of their life, they lived for God. And living for God doesn't mean that you're going to do this only through your job. It means that through your life and how you think and how you move through the world, you really are going to humble yourself before God. Humbling yourself before God would not make a person, if you're humble before God already, it wouldn't make you go against anybody. Think about that. Being humble before God, it doesn't mean that God told you to go and fight someone. Being humble before God doesn't mean that God told you to create illusions about someone or manipulate people. There is nothing in that is right. You weren't assigned to be a whistleblower for God. You are always assigned to work on yourself and learn from God what is right and wrong. And it is through the way you live that there can be justice or inspiration. It's a very tight, it's a thin line between being a person who has authority and a person who has been assigned by God to do something. Two different missions going in two different directions. Because you can't tell yourself that that's your mission to create problems for another person. If you're looking for your real mission, Libra, your real mission is going to be forgiveness, asking God for forgiveness. And then from there, you have the life that you really want. Because some of you really do want that deep down inside, but you're not gonna be able to do it the way you think you should do it. You have to listen to God. You have to listen to God as if God is your sister, as if God is your family, as if God is like the best family member you ever had in your life, as if God is the best family member ever in the world. Be loyal to your sister. I'm just using that as an example. But be loyal to that person, right? Like, imagine God being that. Or a brother. You have to have unshakable faith in love. See, this kind of love surpasses basic love, because it's going to be unconditional love. Don't let people come in between your relationship with God, for real. So you guys may be seeking out churches before the end of the month, like switching up, going where you were going and now you're at a new church. You could realize that you have been falsely motivated by people in certain places. You could find out that certain people thought they knew things, but now everything's coming out that they don't, or like that's not the right place for you. Now you could be trying to make amends with God, or trying to make amends with a group of people that you possibly walked away from maybe a long time ago, because maybe you didn't believe, maybe you didn't, but now things are changing. And I feel like now you're ready to stand beside God. Now you see something, and now you're like, wait a minute, I'm on board. I'm on board with God now. Because now something has happened quickly. Quick changes happened real fast. And now you're just like, wait. This wasn't what I thought it was. I'm back right with the Lord. Right? So like for me, I'm the kind of person that I don't have to get right with God. Like, that's funny to me, because I don't have to go through that, right? I am inside of God, and God is inside of me. So I don't really have to do things like that. The only thing that I increase is my level of how much I let you all see. So this month right here is about Libras answering this question: how can you cultivate hope when you feel hopeless? That's going to be the thing that I feel like you're going to find by the end of the month. Winter, this is the season for you where you're really going to see what is bringing hope in a time when you could feel hopeless. Sometimes that answer is the real God. Please, Libra. Please understand. Stay close and just listen. Thank you.